Of your contract, so it's coming back and meeting all the boys again. But are you missing football already?
Yeah, a little bit. I think you have a few weeks off. The season finishes, all the sort of emotion around trying to get into the playoffs towards the end of last year, which we sadly didn't do. But then you have a few weeks just to relax, kind of get into the sort of the football bug kind of dies down a bit, and then I guess it kicks back in, sort of, I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks later, I guess the novelty sort of wears off then, and you kind of, you're thinking and focusing on next season from there.
Absolutely. So for a goalkeeper, what do you do to get ready for the next season?
What have I done? I've tried to keep myself in good condition. I go to the gym a few times, keep myself going in that respect. Played an unhealthy amount of golf, really, which is pretty stereotypical of a footballer, I guess. I guess just kind of, keep yourself ticking over, keep yourself at some level of fitness to come back. Okay, you kind of, a lot of the outfielders have head start in terms of running for when when you come back, you're expected. I'm not expecting to be lapping the lads where we do the running.
Yeah.
If I am, there's something seriously wrong. But just keep myself at a base level of fitness and prepared for next season. Really, that's it. Really, come back at a good level. And then pick up when we're back in a few weeks' time. What
about reactions? Do you do anything to sort of like sharpen up your reflexes or anything else to keep them on key, as it were?
Not really. I've always been one sort of, when the season ends, just relax, take a bit of time off from football in terms of, people lashing footballs at you, really. I've always been one just to relax and take a little bit of time off, and then when sort of come back into the season, I'm good to go then, really. So that's the way I've always kind of done things, maintained a level of fitness, sort of physical fitness, but in terms of football itself, I tend to take a little bit of a breather from it, really.
And what about setting yourself goals for next season? Because, you've got a level 1 to beat next season, haven't you? It was 16 clean sheets last year. I think 15 and a half are yours.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't have quite the ring to it at the end of the season awards, 15 and a half clean sheets. No, I guess you always set personal goals, but I think, being part of the team here, the bigger picture is, can we try and look to, firstly, finish better than what we did last year? Can we finish higher than what we did last year? And that's going to put us in and around a playoff spot. So I think that's the goal, really, next year is to push on from where we finished last year. There's always things you can take from last season. We're in a great position kind of in and around February time, just unfortunately dropped off in the last sort of 10 games or so. But I think instead of being negative about that situation, you can take a lot of positives, a lot of learning experiences. If we do find ourselves in that situation again with 10 games to go, we'll know what we need to do to then get over the line, really. You're going to get knockbacks, and I think it's not a massive knockback. A lot of the lads at the end of the season were pretty positive about what we'd achieved. Sadly, it just wasn't quite enough to get in the playoffs, but I think now we can push on and use the good moments from last year as sort of motivation, but use the sort of the disappointment from the last 10 games to push us on even further.
Absolutely, and you've also got to get used to a new defence really next year, haven't you? Unfortunately, Macca's moved on, and we've already signed a couple of interesting fullbacks as well into the lineup, and possibly more to come. Yeah,
I mean, it's disappointing with Macca going, but firstly, you've got to wish him all the best. He's one, a really great person. Two, got a great family who I've got to know and been fortunate to spend a lot of time with in the bar after the game and get to know them. So he'll be a great addition to wherever he goes, and of course he goes with everyone's sort of blessing and good wishes from Stratford. You can see, from the posts out on social media, they're all, what a great guy, and things that he's achieved at this club, and I completely echo that and wish him all the best. But in terms of building relationships, it's part and parcel of football, really. You kind of, people come and go, and you build. I've played with a lot of players, and you kind of have to build relationships quickly. And I think the quicker we can build those in those pre-season games, the first sort of 5-10 games of the new season will be important. Laying the groundwork for the season.
Absolutely, and a big signing in the summer, Henry Landers. Did you know him from your time at Leamington?
No, we sadly didn't cross paths. But I still know quite a few people at Leamington and sort of keep up with what they're doing. He seems to have done really well. So looking forward to meeting him, and I'm sure we can tell tales about a lot of similar people that we know through our time at Leamington. And he's been a great success there. Obviously, had I think 2 or 3 really positive seasons there, and